fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome to the late night edition of From 8 Arbitration. It's Tuesday, late, about midnight. But I wanted to get the Wolf on, James Henry, but I also have Chris Jackson on, the Director of City Delivery, who will also be running on the CLC slate as Director of City Delivery, because they wanted to clarify some misinformation being put out by individuals. The financial episode that came out absolutely sent shockwaves everywhere. And so it was indefensible what we heard on that financial report by the three that went to national and looked through the books. And so immediately people on the other side started talking about, well, James Henry and Chris Jackson are on the fiscal committee, so they should know. No, they shouldn't have. And they're going to explain exactly what their responsibilities are. I wanted Chris Jackson to come on because he is an expert at the Constitution. Nobody knows the Constitution better than Chris Jackson. I've never spoken with anybody as knowledgeable about those things than him, about the processes. He's the most knowledgeable that there is. So I wanted him to come on. Now listen, there's a major storm here, and so there will be some connectivity issues, but not enough to where it's going to interfere too much with the conversation. And you'll see what I'm talking about a little bit. A lot of times their screen would freeze up, and because I'm in the middle of a massive monsoon thunderstorm right now here in Nashville. But it doesn't affect much, but you will definitely hear it, some connectivity issues with it. But yeah, I wanted to come on. Then James and I just talk about the comedy show coming up, fundraising, Blackout Day on the 5th, and nominations. And just a little chit-chat with me and the Wolf, the next president of the NLC. So I think y'all enjoy it. But Chris talks first. He's going to clarify what the fiscal committee does. And just to clear up a lot of the misinformation, because like they always say, if you can't beat them, lie on them. And that's the phase that we're in. We're in the stooge phase. Now we're in the if you can't beat them, just lie on them. And so, but he wanted to come on and clear that up, and he does. So enjoy conversation with two of the finest men that I know, and I will talk to y'all Monday. Toledo will be there tomorrow. Well, it'll be tonight now once you hear this, but Toledo will see you. We'll be in New Orleans Saturday, Augusta, Georgia Monday, and then in LA on the 1st to talk with my people out there at their branch meeting. So I love you, Light Blue. Y'all please be safe, okay? Please be safe. Nothing's more important than you, all right? I love you, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration. Told you I was going to have the Wolf on. I've got him, and I've got another special guest, one of my dear friends, Brother Chris Jackson, Director of City Delivery. And they're going to talk to you just for a bit. Then Chris is going to jump off, and James and I are going to hang around a little bit, talk just a few minutes. It's not going to be long, but I wanted to have both of them on because of some misinformation that's going on social media. Of course, that's going to happen all the time. When you have nothing else, you just lie on somebody. And so when the financial episode came out, it caused a firestorm across the country, and it should have, because you saw the waste of our president and the failure of those that should be holding him accountable to do so. And so some of the misinformation came out saying, well, hey, James Henry and Chris Jackson on the fiscal committee, they should have known about that. They should have known about those payments going to a chief of staff and a private attorney. So they're just as culpable. Those people are misinformed about what y'all do on the fiscal committee. So I wanted y'all to come on, Chris, especially you, and address exactly what it is y'all do on the fiscal committee, and then you can jump off. How's that, my friend?
Sounds good, my brother.
All right, my man, it's all yours.
All right, appreciate it. All right, thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. And this is to all my brothers and sisters and letter carrier blues. I want to explain about the fiscal committee. I'm one of the resident officers that is part of the fiscal committee, and what is our duty. And part of the duty is crystal clear under the NLC Constitutional Article 11. Fiscal Committee, Section 2A, and I'm going to read it. Make sure crystal clear, nothing is missed per the Constitution. Section 2A, the resident national officer shall constitute the Fiscal Committee. Any three of the resident officer may serve as members of the Fiscal Committee. B, it shall be the duty of the Fiscal Committee to examine all bills submitted for payment and, if found to be correct, to approve them and authorize payment to be made. All bills shall be itemized. All bills shall be itemized. Any disapproved bills will be returned by the Secretary Treasurer, who will furnish the reason for disapproval. That is the duties of the Fiscal Committee. And who's on that Fiscal Committee? Let me explain. The Secretary Treasurer, Nicole. Now, Nicole is the Secretary Treasurer, part of the Fiscal Committee, and part of her duties under Article 9, Section 4, her duties under C, the Secretary Treasurer shall draw and attest all orders which must be signed by the President for money and payments of bills that have been approved by the Fiscal Committee, all of which shall be paid by the Secretary Treasurer. And that also, like I say, Article 9, Section 4, C of the Constitution. Who else is on the Fiscal Committee? Assistant Secretary Treasurer. His duty is to, when the Secretary Treasurer is not available, he step in, and which is Mac, as the Secretary Treasurer. Manny Peralta, Safety and Health, is part on the Fiscal Committee. Jim Yates is part of the Fiscal Committee, and Dan Toth is part of the Fiscal Committee, and Brother James Henry is also part of the Fiscal Committee. We make up the committee far as the resident officers. What we do, I made it crystal clear what the Constitution said. All bills shall be itemized. Part of my duties as part of the Fiscal Committee is we meet every Tuesday. Not every Tuesday, but we rotate. We have a schedule. We give our availability to the treasurer. She will schedule us on a Tuesday throughout the month, and then we will meet. Like today, it was Nicole, Dan, and myself. Part of the bills that comes in when we meet on Tuesday, these are carriers, our letter carriers, our NAAs that turn in their expense forms, want to be reimbursed far as their time spent on detail. We go over it, receipts, make sure that the amount they are requesting is backed up by itemized receipt. If it's for restaurants, etc., that they only get reimbursed for 20%, deal with tips. We go through each one and make sure that the receipts are itemized. If they're not itemized, what I do, I put it on the post-it, no itemized receipt, where Nicole can make the decision. She'll follow up and get in contact with the MBAs or the individual letter carriers. That is part of our duties. Once we go over all the receipts, 3 resident officers must sign off. The reason why is for 3. That eliminate if one resident officer missed something, the second or the third one will catch it. Part of Fiscal Committee, we don't deal with any type of wages as far as the president hires someone and they get a salary. That's not the Fiscal Committee duties. I read what our duties are. As far as giving bonus, that is not the Fiscal Committee job. We don't give bonus as far as authorizing it. So we also, what Fiscal Committee do, Dealing with the expense form, we go by hard copy. We also go through what we call Atrium in the computer system for NELC. That's deal with bills that vendor submits. That's also deal with NAAs that getting paid for their wages as far as how many hours they work that week or weeks. And at the end of the year, carriers will turn in a 3971 for the time they work. They get in a leave without pay status. For every 80 hours, they lose leave. So at the beginning of the year, NELC will cut them a check for that lost time. But we, as the fiscal committee, we make sure that that is accurate, and we have to sign off on that also. So that's including invoices from vendors, invoices from arbitrators, when they put in they request to get reimbursed for their time spent hearing the hearing or doing rendering their decisions by writing it up, or any other type of utility bills, etc. That's the job of fiscal committee. Now, I want to go to some, read to you all, dealing with Article 9, the Executive Council. What part of the Executive Council duties when it comes to when the president, he hires someone, what the national president's supposed to do when it comes to hiring an individual and bringing them on and giving them, providing them a salary. And as far as how that works, the president will hire someone, then what that president will do, now I don't mean that president, I'm talking about our national president, Renfro, he will hire someone, and then at that point, the person is being hired. We don't control if he or she get hired. That's on the president. That's his authority as a president. Under Article 9, Section 11.3, it talks about authorize and or ratify the payment of salaries, wages, expense, allowance, and other disabusement, which is deemed necessary and appropriate to the purpose and functioning of the union and other than provided. So when it comes down to the president going to hire someone and he sign and give them a what salary before the employee can receive that salary or a bonus is supposed to come to the executive council and get our approval. That never happened. We find out an employee got hired way after the fact when human resource will bring them down to our office and introduce us. They already is on the payroll. Their salary was already set by the national president. Same way that you have employees that receive bonus. We didn't have a clue, didn't know nothing about it because it never came to the executive council to get approval. How did it work? What's the process? The national president signs off. He turns it over to human resource manager. The human resource manager will have their staff or whoever put it into Atrium. Once it's entered to Atrium, it's automatic went into payroll. That doesn't come to the executive council. If the president don't bring it to the executive council, we don't know. If the secretary treasurer don't inform us, because obvious when someone comes on, it's in the payroll. Payroll is part of finance. Finance is overseen by the assistant, not the assistant, secretary treasurer. So if there's an increase in pay, we don't know, but the treasurer would know. And without the executive council approving it, we'll never know about it. So when you look at, if you have the Constitution, you can read it yourself. Article 9 of the Executive Council, E3, it explains how it works about the pay. And also look at committee is dealing with, as far as fiscal committee, nowhere in there is say fiscal committee approve salary, wages, or bonus, etc. And that's what we do as fiscal committee members. Thank you, Corey.
Absolutely. So y'all would have no idea about somebody's personal salary or the payment of that
No, none at all.
unless it was brought to y'all's attention, as it should have been through the Constitution, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so I'll
And
give you
and
a funny
just
story. This is
and
this
what
is
just
what
for the record, and just for
yeah,
the record, Corey, as
yeah.
he indicated, I want to state that what Chris said is 100% accurate, and that I concur 100% with what he said in his assessment of it and what the Constitution says. And neither he nor I, as indicated by allegedly by some, that we knew, we didn't, and even if it at this point, period, just for the record, I am totally opposed and disapprove of any of those bonuses that were given to those individuals that you spoke out. And I do believe that the fiscal report that was given by the members uh, that was on your podcast a few weeks ago was correct as well. And like the average carrier, I am appalled as to the uh, the degree and the mismanagement of that money.
Yeah, yeah. Every carrier was, James. The feedback on that was vicious as far as that's concerned. But and you're going to expect this. I wanted y'all to come on to talk about it. You're going to have a lot of misinformation because when you can't beat somebody, you lie on somebody, and that's the phase that we're in. Is on social media, people's like, well, they're on the fiscal committee. They should have known about it. No, people that have no idea what they're talking about say that because y'all don't deal with personal salaries.
No,
Y'all would have no idea. That's the reason he's supposed to bring that to the executive council that so that y'all would know and could approve of that or disapprove of that. And
right.
that never happened. But I'll give you a funny story, Chris, and then you can go. But uh, y'all deal with TAs. Like if I'm going to do, Pete Moss would send me to an arbitration, and I would put in a TA, and then I would put in my expenses, uh, my gas, my room, and board. I'd have a per diem. If I went over that per diem, y'all would subtract that from it and pay me the per diem. And then I would have to get a piece of paper. I'd put all my receipts on there. If I ate lunch at McDonald's, I'd have to tape that to a piece of paper. And if I ate at a steak place at night, I'd have to tape that onto a piece of paper and I'd mail that in with my expense forms. And that's what y'all handled, right?
That is correct. That's the part dealing with reimbursement, itemizing the receipts for NAAs. That's one piece of it.
Yeah.
Also, like I said earlier, arbitrator invoices,
Yeah.
utility bills. If RAAs or NBA's gas mileage for the months, if they buy material, paper for the copy machine or whatever in the regional office, we handle that also. We go over that. That's what we consider as a fiscal committee to go over all the receipts. And I just want to add this part. Under fiscal committee, it's plenty of receipts come in I don't agree with, and I will not sign off. And what happened is all they got to do is get three others. I put in the comments in Atrium where I got a concern. I put in the comment my concern, what I have with that issue. But as long as you get three resident officer out of the fiscal committee, which I name off, Nicole, Mac, Manny, Jim Yates, James, and Dan Toth. All you need is three. But something I don't like and I see, I don't want to agree. And I will not sign off. And that's how I handle my duties under fiscal committee. Because nobody can make me sign off, even though the duties of the Constitution say resident officers, but we do have the right, if we don't agree with it, we don't have to sign it. Because if it's denied, but it's nowhere on the paperwork, on the expense form or in Atrium that have a denied part, it is basically is you don't sign and put it in the comment section. That's how
Right.
it works.
Yeah.
And I have to give him an amen on that one. Certainly, that brother has an eagle eye, and he often it is not uncommon for him to question something, And as such, the fiscal committee is even that's much more studious. And similarly, there's been times where I have not signed off on anything. So it's not just a rubber stamp if anybody thinks that. And I can tell you, he certainly does not sign off on everything.
And I will say this, Corey, fiscal committee start on Tuesday at 10 a.m. and it might go all the way to 3 or 5 p.m. I start going over the paperwork the day before Monday to get ahead of it because I go line by line. I do not just go through it with speed. I take my time and go through it. If it's, I'm sorry, I am picky. If we over a penny, etc., I'm going to mark it down. And then it's up to Nicole to make a decision, So that's where it's at.
Well, here's a funny story for you. Here's
Yes.
two of them. And it's probably you that did it now that you said that. But I had to do an arbitration. I had to go to Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yeah.
And so I would take off in the morning at probably about 5 a.m. I would drive all day and I would meet with AJ Bro in Lake Charles. I'd finally get there about 5 or 6, meet with him for a couple of hours, and then go eat and then go to bed.
Yes.
And so I head out at 5 a.m. Now this is a 10, 11-hour drive, so I'm hustling. I pull into a Shell gas station. I'm like, I'm not going to have time to stop at McDonald's or anything. I'm going to get me a pack of peanut butter crackers and a Mellow Yellow and put that as breakfast. So I got denied that because y'all said we don't pay for snacks. I was like, I'll be damned. That was my breakfast. And so y'all wouldn't reimburse me. I said, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Cracker Barrel every time now because y'all said I couldn't. Y'all ain't going to pay for snacks. So I couldn't get reimbursed for a pack of peanut butter crackers and a Mellow Yellow.
No.
Y'all denied it, saying we don't buy snacks. It's like, what the hell? That was my breakfast. But
no, we don't. We don't reimburse for snacks. That's not my call. But let me say this: our NAAs, they learn how to get around certain things, and we reimburse $75 a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if John Doe or Jane Doe, the NAA put down they peanut butter crackers, that was their breakfast, then we're going to reimburse for that breakfast because they didn't say snacks. They said breakfast. So
I did too. I put it down as breakfast. Y'all denied it.
No, you must have put snacks on there. I mean, if you want to eat unhealthy, you eat unhealthy. So it's certain things. You have NAAs, people on detail. They will stay and get a hotel that have a kitchen per se, and they go to the grocery store and they buy grocery. Now we ain't gonna pay for deodorant, etc. Reimburse for stuff like that, and sometimes you might get away. Now let me say this also: we only reimburse for 2 drinks. Far as liquor, we do not let somebody just buy liquor. If you're gonna buy liquor, yeah, you will get red line if you didn't have a lunch with it or a dinner with it. It got to come with a meal. So just don't put snacks down. That's not going to work.
I put breakfast, but anyway, here's the other one, and I'll let you go. And this was funny because this one was when Manny called me one time. But I used to go to Memphis all the time for arbitrations, or Jackson, Tennessee, and on the way, or anywhere in Memphis or Mississippi, because you had to come back up through Memphis. But there's a buffet. It's called Casey Jones, and it's a buffet. It's a fantastic buffet. Everybody goes there. It's a Southern food buffet. It's fantastic. Anyway, it's a buffet, and so when you get the receipt, it just says buffet. You get and I turned that in. Y'all denied it because it wasn't itemized. I'm like, how do I itemize a buffet? So the next time I went to Casey Jones, I had a piece of paper. And you can ask Manny. I put down 1 serving of pinto beans, 1 serving of macaroni and cheese. I had about 32 pieces of fried chicken, one slice of meatloaf, two glasses of sweet tea, and I put down everything. I taped that on. I sent it down, and Manny calls me about a week later. He said, "I need to speak with the smart ass." I said, "You got him." He's like, "We've shared this damn thing with everybody up here. Your itemized receipt from Casey Jones." I was like, "That's hell," because last time I sent it up there, y'all denied the damn thing. But
Hey, hey,
anyway, so yeah,
and let me say this. That wouldn't have been me because the buffet was good enough on the receipt and the amount as that's itemized. Because it's a buffet
yeah,
lunch, a buffet
exactly.
dinner with the
Yeah,
amount of how much. And it's nothing else we need from that because your receipt will show the name, etc. But other than that, that's how it works. But again, fiscal committee, our job is only to go over the receipts and make sure they itemize and the right amount that you paid for, including a 20% tip. And just like hotels, you non-tips as far as leaving a tip for the room being clean. We got a limit on that is $5 a day. So that's how we do it.
yeah. All right,
All right,
brother. Well, I appreciate you, my man. You get
all
off.
right.
It's 11 o'clock y'all's time, man. Go on to
Oh,
bed. Get off
it's
here. I
Pat.
appreciate you, Chris, more than you know, for coming on here
All
and
right.
clarifying that. All right, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Love you all.
All
Y'all
right, man.
take it easy. God bless you all.
All right,
Be
man.
blessed,
Take
brother.
care.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night.
All right, James. Me and
My
you.
man.
How are you, brother? It's late. And we're always doing this, man. You don't ever get no sleep. You sleep. You've just gotten into about 3 hours a day sleep. You just deal with that
Man,
every day.
man, I know. But some things are worth the sacrifice. And this mission we on to reform this union and
Hmm.
to provide the representation to the letter carriers to the extent possible that we can. If that's what it calls for, that's what it calls for.
Well, I'm not going to keep you long. Just a couple of things, kind of where we are,
Absolutely.
what we're doing. We got a few visits coming up. We won't talk about that. And so, just tell everybody we're going to tomorrow. We'll be in Toledo, Branch 100,
Yes. Yes.
and
Looking
then
forward to that.
where are we going?
So we're going to be at Branch 100 tomorrow evening at the branch meeting with uh, our new candidate that's on the CLC slate, Mike Hayden, the president of Branch 100, Toledo, Ohio. So that's going to be super exciting because he's one of the newest members to the CLC slate. And from there, we leave, and what is it, Saturday evening? We'll be at Branch 124, New Orleans, for their branch meeting. And then on Sunday, we're going to be in Augusta, Georgia in the evening for their branch meeting. So we're absolutely looking forward to this. We, as was said on the other day, all gas, no brakes, brother, between here and the convention. We taking it all the way to the limit.
That's right. And then we'll be on another road trip, you and I, and my beautiful bride Sunday when
Yes.
we're going to, because I'm driving down to New Orleans,
Okay.
and then you and I we'll hook up Sunday and drive over to Augusta, Georgia, so that you'll have about 8.5 more hours of my singing, and then and it always puts you to sleep. It's so sweet. I look back there, and about 20 minutes in, you sound asleep. So I don't know whether you're trying to evade my singing or if you're acting like you're asleep. So I'll stop. But
But
it,
hey, look, this past weekend when we did that 16-hour trip, didn't hardly sleep at all. We was on a
no,
mission, and
and
here's
we
the good thing. I found that we can get some what's it called, Easter eggs, the little hidden gems. You remember
yeah,
this past what was it, Sunday? We was at the gas station and we came
yeah,
across a brother, a fellow letter carrier that had recognized you from the podcast and came up and introduced himself and wanted to speak with us. That was really a real pleasure and
Yes.
a real memorable moment for us. And I look forward to more of those things. So the road trip, because usually I'm flying from one spot to the next. So those road trips, like you indicated, which was my first like real road trip, which it provided that opportunity, and it really jazzed me up. And so hopefully that may happen between New Orleans and Augusta.
And then we get to Nashville at like 1:30 in the morning. There's no rooms in Nashville. Nobody has a vacancy. We go to
Nobody.
like no, we go to like 6 or 7, and they're like, we don't know what's going on, but we're sold out. So
Yes.
finally, we end up, I can't remember, a Holiday Inn or something.
Yeah, Holiday Inn.
Yeah. And we was like, do you by chance have a vacancy? Got one. And so you got that one about 1:30 in the morning. And
Yes. And
so
let me tell you something, brother. It is something wrong that when you check in and you check out, and the shuttle driver says, "Didn't I just see you 2 hours ago?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I remember you had," because I had my Marine Corps retired hat on. And this
yeah.
brother said, "Didn't I just see you 2 hours ago?" I said, "Yeah," because at 3:30 I'm up and on the plane so I can get to the airport and get
Yeah.
on the 5:40 flight back to DC so I can go to work. That's the kind of level of dedication and effort that we've been putting in to secure this election so we can bring the level of representation and devotion to our letter carriers that they so desperately are seeking and are hoping for, and that, quite frankly, our careers have demonstrated, and that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Well, it was a hell of a time. I look forward
It
to Sunday
was,
when we do it again.
brother.
So
Yes.
we got a comedy show, and that's the 5th, the Wednesday night of the nominations. And we've sold so many tickets, we're doing another show. And so talk to me about that. When is that going to come out?
Yes, well, for those of you that still have not gotten your tickets, if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area, whether or not you're going to the convention or not, you still entitled and have the availability. Please go on Concerned Letter Carriers Facebook page, and you'll see the advertisement for our fundraiser at the Los Angeles Upstairs Comedy Club, where it's going to be featuring our headliner, Daphne Springs, and we're going to have an opening act and DJ. It's going to be a great time. We will address the crowd as well, but this is really, really an opportunity for us to have a good time and to be able to interact with one another. So yes, we've basically sold out the first show. There was approximately 20-some tickets left earlier this evening. So if you have not gotten it, please get your tickets. And by popular demand, because we got people saying, I still want to go, I still want to go, and we want to purchase some tickets, we have booked a second show, and that will be made available perhaps sometime this coming weekend. So we are really excited about the enthusiasm and that the participation and the level of support that the letter carriers are showing the CLC as a whole. And this event here is indicative of that. So while they last, get your tickets to the CLC fundraiser slash comedy show, and it will be a great time for all. And an
Those
opportunity
booths,
for you to meet and interact with all the CLC slate as well.
yeah. And those booths immediately sold out. The booths did. And so people are
Man,
saying, I had 2 people message saying, hey, we're trying to get the booth. I was like, dude, they sold out in like an hour. And so
absolutely.
if you want a booth, make sure you pay attention so you can get one. I'll go ahead and
But you got
read
to
this
say it the
thing,
right
Jay.
way, Corey. You got to say the VIP booth.
The VIP booths.
with
And
bottle
so
service.
with now, what does that mean? Bottle
That
service.
means that in short, the booth, you don't just get a place to sit in the booth. You get some drinks that are packaged with the booth as well.
Okay. So it's Wednesday, August 5th, 2026, night of the nominations. It's 6 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Upstairs Comedy Club, 1415 South Los Angeles Street. 6 to 7:30 p.m. the CLC announcements and celebrations. 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. the comedy show starring Dapnique Springs. 8:30 to 10:30 MC and DJ and more. 250 to capacity, so we basically sold that out. We're going to start another show. The VIP booths, 4 booths are available. Seats up to 6, bottle service included, $600 per booth. Front row reserved seats, 16 seats available, $75 per seat. General admission, $65. That's $210 seats, 210 seats available. All proceeds support the future of our union. And like you said, you can go to concernedlettercarriers.com or Concerned Letter Carriers Facebook page, and it'll have the QR code for you. But yeah, that was surprisingly, those tickets went surprisingly fast because you never know. That's a busy week in Los Angeles. That's going to be a busy week at the convention. You know, a lot of branches have their own thing, a lot of people there to sightsee. And so, you know, when you do things like this, you're like, well, hopefully, you know, people be receptive. And I remember the first day we sold out the front row seats and the booths
Right.
immediately. And so you got about, it was less than 20 seats now available. So we're going to go ahead and do another show. So make sure that y'all get on there and get those seats. Y'all are going to enjoy that. And then fundraising. Talk to me about that, James, because we're right in the middle of it. We got a few more weeks to fundraise. And so talk to me
Yeah.
about fundraising.
Well, absolutely. And one of them is here again, as we indicated, the comedy show is a fundraiser for us. But if you really, really believe in this movement that we have and that we have actually been uh, engaged in for the last 2.5 years, we spent the first 2 years not uh, promoting raising funds because it was all about uh, getting out, interacting, and meeting our brothers and sisters and hearing from them the things that matter most to them, so we can make sure that when we take the reins of this administration, the union, that we can implement by being informed as to what is important to the letter carriers. Because as I often say, and we say here, is that this is not about me or you. This is about we. This is about our collective concerns and needs and wants of the letter carriers, such as making sure that we have a living wage and making sure that we have a harmonious working environment. And so for us to be able to get into office, we have to be able to reach out to everyone and be able to do a mailing, and uh, those things require monies. And so we're asking each and every one that you can go on concernedlettercarriers.com, and there's a donate button. You can donate via Zelle, via check, GoFundMe, PayPal, Cash App, and no monies that have been raised to this point have gone to the purposes of any one of us traveling. Myself and Corey and every other candidate that has traveled around the country has done so on their own time and dime. And that's because we genuinely care and understand that the sacrifice is necessary. So we are going to uh, be having this fundraiser, and we're going to be asking everyone if they, in fact, can contribute to this movement of making sure that a true reform slate gets in, and members that would represent the letter carriers that are of the letter carriers. We are the only slate that have Table 2 carriers on the slate. We are the only slate that is extremely diversified and truly looks like the face of this union in every sense of the word. And the reality of it is that let me make this one statement that is absolutely a fact. We are not new to this. We're true to this. Again, we're not new to this, meaning the CLC slate. We're not new to this campaign. We're not new to trying to look out for the letter carrier's best interest. We're true to it. The entire time we've put on nationwide Zooms multiple times, educating the workforce, regardless of whether or not we were in office, because that's what we believe. We've done that. We have gone from every place from Hawaii to Puerto Rico and every place in between. You know, small places we've gone to where we've traveled where there was only 6 letter carriers, or where there's been thousands of carriers for a branch. The reality of it is that, as we often say, we don't care if it's 2 or 2,000. We will be there if we're asked to come, and we're available, because every single letter carrier means that much to us, every single one. And so when we say an injury to one is an injury to all, that's just not rhetoric to us. That is a way of life, and we have convictions about that. So if those things align with your principles and your vision of your union and your expectations of your leadership, please contribute and help us raise the necessary funds to be able to reach each and every single letter carrier. We were trying to raise about $350,000. You know, there's over 290 plus letter carriers, and just postage alone, first class postage at the retail rate is 82 cents. And that's over 200 and some $1,000 there in and of itself, plus posting and packaging, mailing, labels, all those other things have an exorbitant amount. But we have faith that the letter carriers will, no pun intended, deliver for us the necessary resources for us to deliver for them the level of expectation and the level of representation that they so desperately are seeking, in need of, and deserve.
Raffle tickets. We got raffle tickets. How can somebody get a raffle ticket? We're selling a bunch of those. So how can I get my hand on some raffle tickets? I know that we're bringing those to the national convention. We'll be selling raffle tickets there. So how would somebody get a hold of raffle tickets before that if they want to buy a raffle ticket so that they can invest in something, kind of have some
If
kind
you're
of return?
interested, that is one way that we are doing fundraising as well. We have these raffle tickets that the prize will, the first and second and third place prizes will be raffled off on that Monday. That would be the 9th, December 10th, that is, I believe. And you can go on concernlettercarriers.com and hit contact us, or you can send us a message via the Facebook, or the like I said, the contact us, and we will have someone get in contact with you to be able to get you tickets. Or if you know any of the candidates that are on the slate, virtually everyone has raffle tickets that they'll be able to sell. And anyone that you see at the convention, if you're going to be at the convention, that has on the CLC slate or affiliated with the CLC, and they have the black and gold CLC shirts on, we will all be able to get you. Probably they would have tickets available on person, or they will be able to get you in contact with somebody. So yes, we would love for you to buy our tickets as well. And you can make yourself a little extra cash yourself by doing so, but it's for an extremely good cause. And that cause is for the representation of the letter carriers.
Wednesday, 5th. We're going to have blackout day. We're going to have
Absolutely.
everybody wear their CLC. Now, we'll be selling CLC gear at the convention, correct?
Absolutely. We'll have CLC t-shirts, CLC polos, hats, an assorted amount of apparel for people to buy and be able to show their support and pride of the CLC. So we are super excited about August 5th. As I said, like you had previously mentioned, we have our fundraiser slash comedy club slash rally that evening. But earlier in the day during the course is going to be nominations. And we want to be able to show the absolute unwavering support for each and every candidate on a CLC slate that represents the entire country. So if you have not yet purchased your CLC apparel, please go on again, CLC on concernledcarriers.com, and it has there the CLC gear that you can purchase, or you can purchase some there at the convention itself. But we would love for you, love. Please get the apparel while it still lasts, because the different sizes and everything. So if you don't have to, don't wait for it to come to the convention and get it. We can make sure that we get it mailed to you. And if you order it, we can put it expedited and get it sent to you to make sure you have it in time for the convention. And if you don't get a chance to purchase it for the convention, we still would have it there. But we are asking everyone that supports from Ada Arbitration, support the concerned letter carriers as a whole, Wednesday, rock your CLC gear.
Yes, that's going to be fun. That's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Next week I'll have you on, James. I know that you're going to be busy all next week. We won't be traveling next week because you have obligations at the convention next week. You'll have to meet. But maybe one evening we'll get together and we'll go over the slate. We got a lot of new additions, some fantastic individuals. I've always said that James Henry said that we're going to reform the union. So we are going to be a reform slate, and you're going to surround yourself with militant individuals that are about that business, and that's what you've done. I couldn't be more excited when these names started dropping in. That yes, I'm going to take up that flag, as I always said. I'm going to take up that flag and represent. And so we have probably the most militant slate that's going to be put forward in the history of the NLC, if you look at it person to person. And so I couldn't be more excited. Like we said the other day, you've got the reform slate against the status quo slate. The uptick in support that we've seen since that slate has been announced has been encouraging. We talked about it today, how encouraging that is. That people were kind of disgusted with the same old, and they're like, hey, look, we got a reform slate. We'll get behind that. But maybe next week, one evening, we'll get together and we'll talk about the slate. You want to do that?
Absolutely. And I encourage everyone in the interim, whatever misinformation you hear, and I'm already characterizing that, because if you want to know the truth, just ask us directly.
Yeah. Well,
We are available, and the one thing that we have demonstrated, that we will be straightforward with you. And I am, like yourself, exceedingly excited about our new additions to our slate, our members, because every single one of us, from myself to you, down to every single AFL-CIO delegate and every member on our slate, absolutely is one that represents courage, represents dedication, represents devotion, and represents a turning of the page, that we are here to represent letter carriers first and foremost, and to reform this union, and let nobody convince you that you cannot reform this union and love it at the same time, because we definitely do. We love the union. We love the letter carriers. And as my brothers say here, we love light blue. So anything that you love, you don't do things that's counterproductive to it.
Yeah. Well, my brother, I appreciate you. I know it's probably midnight there. That's
Not,
common.
not
That's
quite.
that's common for you and me. I
Man.
don't know. You go and try to get you about 4 or 5 hours of sleep, my brother, before you got to get up and go to
Yeah,
work.
we have been burning the candle at both ends of the stick. But brother, what do we say? We want to run all the way through the tape, right?
That's
And
exactly
we
right, my man.
truly hope that the letter carriers and everyone on the sound of our voices really, truly appreciate what this moment in time means. It means that it's an opportunity for everyone to be able to make a difference. Normally, I say you have three types of people in this world, brother. You have those that make things happen, people that watch things happen, and people that wonder what happened.
Mhm.
This is an opportunity for each and every letter carrier that wears light blue to be able to make things happen in this union at this particular moment. Normally, that opportunity isn't as prominent as it is here. You support us, it's the same thing as supporting yourself because we are you. We
Yeah.
are light blue. We are the letter carriers. And we love you, love you, love you, love you.
All right, my brother. James, have a good night, my man, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Most definitely, brother. Be blessed.
All right, baby. We'll see you, bud. Bye.
All right, now.